Welcome to part 2 of my Guitar Fundamentals series. In this lesson, what I'm going to do is take the sort of minor pentatonic shape we looked at in part 1. So if you've seen the video, you'll remember playing in there, and we looked at some, repeating ideas. So mainly sticking in the box in the middle, like, and also some repeating licks, like. So in the first lesson, we stuck at the 12th fret, which is the E minor pentatonic scale. As mentioned last time, what I'm going to do is move everything we've looked at there down to the 5th fret down here. So this is the A minor pentatonic scale, so we're just playing. And everything is the same as we looked at before. So we've still got this shape in the middle. And all your, licks we looked at. But what we're going to do is build on that. So you heard, the minor pentatonic scale, a lot of the time people just call it the blues scale, and there's a slight difference which we're going to look at now. So the minor pentatonic scale is to make this the blues scale, all we do is add an extra note on the G string. So and that's just one fret up from where we are normally. And this is called the blue note, so it adds a bit of tension, but also sounds a bit bluesy when you play it. So you've got two blues notes in the pentatonic scale. You got, which is just here. Now the good thing about the blue notes is they make it sound a bit more interesting what you're playing, but the danger is that there's a lot of tension if you were to linger on the blue note. Well, I'll show you a quick example of playing along to the backing, and I'll throw in a couple of blue notes. But just notice what I'll do is I'll intentionally linger on the blue note, and you'll hear it's not well used in that way. It's better a lot of the time as a passing note, so just a note that you would move through as you're traveling around. But we'll do a quick demonstration and I'll show you what that sounds like. See how there's a bit of tension if you linger, which is probably, like the pentatonic notes we looked at previously. You can kind of sit on any of these notes and they're going to sound okay, but if you would linger on the blue note, it's not too good. So the other blue note we looked at was down here. You can see how that adds a little bit colour to what we're playing, probably hence the name and the blues music. just having a little drink of coffee there. So as well as the blue note, I want to talk about something else, which is octaves. It's probably a word you would have come across if you've looked at, like... And all we're talking about here is the same note played up an octave. So and how this comes into being relevant with your scale is that this box shape we looked at in the first lesson, if we play that down an octave down here, or up an octave up here, all of your same licks will work, which is quite useful, and especially if you can build up the main shape to include these. So for example, we've looked at this position, but if we slide down 2 frets, you've got this box shape in here. And in the first lesson, I'd said to ignore this part of the scale, so the bottom 2 strings, and that's because ideally, and it's a bit easier to play, if you slide down here. So for example, and going up, you end up with this extended shape where you've got this shape that includes 3 positions. So just to try and show you, I'll maybe play along to some backing, but rather than just staying here in one position, we can include all 3 positions here, and all we're doing is playing the same thing across 3 octaves, but you can add a lot of interest to your playing and make it sound a bit more varied despite doing the same thing. That makes sense, but basically all I'm saying is that we can repeat all of the stuff we looked at on these middle two strings, and we can play it down here and up here, and this shape up the top here, this, you can add the note on the G string, and it can be slid into, so similar to the repeating lick we looked at in the first lesson. We can slide into that position, and we can also slide into this box up here. And if you think like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood, you know, a lot of that stuff is just stuck in this box. across the three positions. And the last thing I'll say about octaves for now is that our main pentatonic position down here, the reason I wanted to play down at A, so at the 5th fret, is because all the way up here at A, we can play the same shape. And for, you know, dramatic effect, you can jump all the way up here and throw in some high notes as we're playing, and that can really add something to your solos, especially if you're building up to a big finish. I'll play a little demonstration, and I'll throw in, you know, something all the way up here at the 17th fret and upwards. I hope that's making sense. So, you know, we've got our home position, and then we've got this little box up here. And similarly, if we can manage it on your fingerboard, you also can play the exact same stuff up here. One last bit to finish this lesson is just a couple more repeating licks that might be a bit interesting to learn, and you might have heard them all over the place. So I've already touched on one of them before, which is instead of playing your bend like, we can slide. So you can practice that one. I like to add a little bit of vibrato, which is just, you know, bending the strings as you're playing it, but you can play it just straight as well. And on the blue notes, you'll have seen me play. It's quite a good one to throw in, a bit jazzy sounding, which is just a sort of hammer on the blue note and then hitting the low E string to finish, and then lots of slides into this blue note here. And just playing around with that blue note, even just passing through it sounds cool. Try and hit it just as you're moving around, and it'll add a bit of colour to your playing. Another repeating lick we can throw in is seen all over the place, so it's just a bend up on the G string, and then on the B string. Sounds weird played slowly, but you'll have heard this all over the place when speeded up. And you can even hit the high E. And it takes a little bit of practice just to play it, you know, circular like that, but after you get it down, it's quite good to throw in to your solos. A couple of other ones are little hammer-on things. So, which is just a hammer on the high E string, and then pull off, and then hitting this note on the B string. And then you can play this down one string, just within the minor pentatonic, sounds like. It basically sounds the same as what we looked at before, but just without the bend. Also, what I like to do is do this pattern but on the blue note. So you're playing it quite fast so it doesn't sound horrible, but it's the exact same as playing on the top two strings, this lick, but instead we play on the blue note. Sounds quite cool when you play it up at a sort of faster speed. So just a couple of things like that to practice. And just when you throw these into your solos, it'll add, you know, more licks to your repertoire, but it also, you know, you understand a bit more about playing, you know, outside of this pentatonic box, which people end up getting trapped into. So just on the moving forwards onto the next lesson, what we're going to look at is the minor scale. So I've slipped up a couple of times in this video and accidentally played a couple of notes from the minor scale. So it's just instinctive for me to hit those notes, which aren't pentatonic. But yeah, we'll touch on the natural minor scale is what they call it. And we'll look at the major scale and major pentatonics in the next lesson. Sounds like a lot of music theory, but it's just a couple more notes on top of what we've done so far, and then a little trick with this pentatonic shape to turn it into a major pentatonic shape. So that's what I'm going to show you next. Thanks for watching, and yeah, if you're struggling to follow any of this, just leave a comment or have a look back at the first video. It explained all the sort of basic knowledge required to understand this video, but if there's anything that's still not quite clear, just let me know and I'll try and answer.